But long ago, in a deep, lush forest, a fearsome tiger ruled the land. He was strong, he was fast, and he was always hungry. Many animals had become his dinner. But there was one creature he wanted to taste more than any other: the quick and clever rabbit. One sunny afternoon, the rabbit was hopping through a meadow, nibbling on sweet clover. Suddenly, his whiskers twitched. He sensed danger. Peeking from behind a large bush, he saw two bright yellow eyes staring right at him. It was the tiger. The rabbit's heart pounded in his chest, and he bolted. But the tiger was faster. With a mighty leap, he landed right in front of the rabbit, blocking his path. "Where do you think you're going?" the tiger roared, his voice echoing through the trees. "Straight into my mouth." That's where the rabbit's mind raced. He had to think fast. Wait, he squeaked, holding up a paw bread. The tiger paused, tilting his massive head. "What's bread?" he grumbled, confused. "Yes," the rabbit said, trying to sound as confident as possible. "Please don't eat me just yet. Let me give you 10 delicious, freshly baked loaves of bread first. It's a special gift." Now, if there was one thing the tiger loved almost as much as a hunt, it was warm, soft bread. His stomach rumbled at the thought. He narrowed his eyes, considering the offer. 1 little rabbit or 10 loaves of bread. That seems like a good deal. The tiger agreed, his greed getting the better of him. So the rabbit got to work. He gathered some dry wood and started a crackling fire. He then picked up several smooth, round stones from the riverbed and placed them carefully into the glowing embers. To the tiger, it looked like he was preparing a makeshift oven. The tiger paced back and forth, growing more impatient by the second. The air began to fill with a smoky, toasty smell. He licked his lips and drooled. "Hurry up, rabbit," he demanded. "I can smell the bread. Give it to me now. Patience, my friend," the rabbit called out cheerfully. "Good things take time. The best bread needs to bake slowly. Just count to 100 and it will be perfectly golden and ready to eat." The tiger, eager for his treat, sat down and began to count. 1, 2, 3. As he counted, the smell grew stronger and stronger, and the stones in the fire glowed a fiery, angry red. The tiger couldn't stand it any longer. He didn't even make it to 50. "I've waited long enough," he roared. He lunged forward, snatched one of the glowing red loaves from the fire, and without a second thought, swallowed it whole. An earth-shattering scream of agony ripped through the forest. "Ouch, it's burning. My throat is on fire," he howled. He had swallowed a red-hot stone. His throat was terribly burned and blistered. From that day on, every bite of food was painful, and he grew weaker and angrier. Winter arrived, blanketing the forest in a thick layer of snow. One freezing day, the rabbit was searching for berries near a half-frozen lake when he heard a familiar, terrifying roar. It was the tiger, looking thinner and even more ferocious than before. "You," the tiger snarled, his eyes burning with hatred. This time, you won't escape me. I'll tear you to pieces for what you did." The rabbit, though startled, remained surprisingly calm. "Oh, Mr. Tiger," he said smoothly, "look at me. I'm just a scrawny little thing, hardly a mouthful for a great hunter like you. But if you spare me, I can give you something much better. How about 1,000 delicious fish instead?" The tiger's ears perked up. 1,000 fish. His stomach, empty and aching, growled loudly at the thought. A feast like that could last him all winter. 1,000 fish. "Are you trying to trick me again?" he asked, his voice full of suspicion. "Of course not," the rabbit assured him. "I promise. Just do exactly as I say, and you'll have more fish than you can dream of." The tiger was still wary. To make sure the rabbit couldn't run away this time, he found a long vine and tied the rabbit securely to a nearby tree. "All right, little trickster," he growled. "Now tell me what to do." The rabbit pointed with his nose toward a hole in the icy lake. "Your beautiful long tail is the best fishing rod in the entire forest," the rabbit explained. "Just lower it into the water through that hole. Be very still. Soon 1,000 fish will see your magnificent tail, mistake it for bait, and bite right onto it." The tiger, shivering in the freezing wind, did as he was told. He sat by the hole and dipped his long tail into the icy water. The cold was biting, but he gritted his teeth, imagining the grand feast to come. He sat there for a very, very long time. Slowly, the water around his tail began to freeze solid, trapping it in a thick layer of ice. "Is it ready yet, rabbit?" The tiger shivered, his teeth chattering. "I feel a lot of tugging." "Not yet," the rabbit replied calmly. "That's only 100 fish so far. You need to wait just a little longer for the full 1,000. Be patient." The tiger waited, and the ice grew thicker and stronger, gripping his tail like a vice. Finally, when the rabbit was sure the tiger was completely stuck, he shouted with excitement, "Now, it's ready. You've caught all 1,000 fish. Pull them out. Pull them out quickly." The tiger roared with glee and tugged with all his mighty strength. But nothing happened. He pulled and pulled, but his tail was frozen solid in the lake. He couldn't move an inch. The rabbit started to laugh, a cheerful, ringing sound that echoed across the frozen lake. "Ha ha! What a fine catch you've made, tiger! Not 1,000 fish, but one enormous, greedy tiger." The tiger's eyes widened in horror as he realized he had been tricked again. He thrashed and struggled, roaring in fury and despair, but it was no use. While the tiger was trapped, the rabbit began to gnaw patiently on the vine that held him to the tree. Soon he was free. He hopped over to the edge of the ice, giving the desperate tiger a little wave. "Goodbye, Mr. Tiger. Don't worry, you'll be free when the snow melts and the ice breaks. Maybe sometime next spring." And with that, the clever rabbit hopped away into the snowy woods, leaving the greedy tiger crying bitterly, trapped and alone in the frozen lake. And so, the story of the clever rabbit and the greedy tiger teaches us that wit and intelligence can be far more powerful than brute strength. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales. See you next time.